So today we're going to talk about sea moss. You probably have heard about sea moss. It's all over social media. What actually is it? Well, sea kelp and sea moss are types of seaweed, which are basically plants that can grow underneath the water. And when you look at sea moss versus sea kelp, they're fairly similar in what's in them as far as overall nutrition content. People are using sea moss on their skin to take it internally to help their digestive system, to help their inflammation. And people are getting all sorts of benefits from this, from increasing their testosterone, increasing their overall health. Let me first state that sea moss has a number of things that people talk about. It has amino acids, that's a type of protein. It has fiber, it has vitamins, it has minerals, fatty acids, phytonutrients, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Now, of course, if you look at the protein, the amino acids, it doesn't compare to a steak or animal protein. What does stand out with sea moss and other types of sea kelp is the minerals, especially the trace minerals. Trace minerals are those minerals that are needed in very, very small amounts, but are very, very necessary. And you're not going to find a lot of these trace minerals in foods unless you're close to the ocean. Now, what is the purpose of trace minerals anyway? Well, one of the purposes for human health for trace minerals is that they help to activate enzymes and certain other proteins that do the work of the body. For example, there is an enzyme that helps you convert from T4, the inactive version of the thyroid hormone, to T3, the active form of the thyroid hormone. And that enzyme is dependent on selenium. Well, guess what? Where are you going to get selenium? You can get it in Brazil nuts, but it's not necessarily in other nuts of any significant amount. And, what do we have to eat? We have to eat shellfish or seafood or seaweed or like sea moss to get this selenium. Selenium not only helps you with the thyroid, selenium is necessary for certain proteins to help you detoxify mercury. Selenium is necessary for your immune system, okay? Like if you don't have enough selenium, you cannot create the T helper cells. T helper cells are like the general of the army for your immune system. They help control and coordinate all the other immune cells in the attack against viruses and cancer and any other type of pathogenic invasion. And so the problem is it's hard to get these trace minerals, especially selenium, from food unless you eat something from the sea. Iodine is also necessary for the thyroid. And so without iodine, you can't make the thyroid hormones. But iodine is also really, really important to help regulate estrogen. And this is why when women are deficient in iodine, they might get breast cancer or ovarian cysts. Japanese women are much less at risk of getting breast cancer. And I really think it's because the Japanese as a culture consumes 25 times more iodine than the US. So I really think a lot of the benefits from sea moss are coming because finally the person is being satisfied with the trace minerals which they've been missing. Now, it is true that sea moss has Carrageenan, and any seaweed that has red in it is going to have some Carrageenan. There's a really big difference in eating Carrageenan that is naturally in sea moss versus Carrageenan that they add to your, almond milk, things like that. So sea moss and even sea kelp is a great product, not only to help get the trace minerals, which I think is the number one benefit, but also some of these other phytonutrients that create some health benefits that extend way beyond just your normal vitamins and minerals. Now, since we're on the topic of trace minerals, there's a lot more to be said about that. If you haven't seen this video, check it out. Hey guys, I'm back with another video, a very short video on roasted seaweed. Someone wanted to know my opinion on roasted seaweed. I think it's great. They're tasty little dehydrated wafers of seaweed that provide a good amount of nutrition. Now, I'm always recommending seafood and shellfish, but seaweed is another great product. Seaweed is a plant vegetable that can extract the minerals from the seawater and pull them into the plant. Then you consume the plant because the plant actually converted those elemental minerals into a form of minerals that are very easy to assimilate. So the benefit of seaweed would be the trace minerals. That's the big benefit, especially iodine, selenium, zinc, and iron. But there's actually a total of 84. Iodine is good for the thyroid, but it's also good to help buffer excessive amounts of estrogen. Many people are estrogen dominant, and also a lot of chemicals in the environment, pesticides, insecticides, herbicides, heavy metals, have the capacity to mimic estrogen. So they're called estrogen or endocrine disruptors. Iodine, especially the form that comes in seaweed, can help counter that effect. And then we have selenium. I've done videos on this. Selenium is incredible for autoimmune conditions like Hashimoto's with a hypothyroid condition. It's a real powerful antioxidant. It helps counter heavy metals, especially mercury, and it does a lot of other things as well. Selenium, it's involved in over 2,000 enzymes. It's really important in digestion, brain function, supporting testosterone. Then we have iron that fortifies your red blood cells. But also there's potassium, calcium, magnesium, manganese, chromium. There's a lot of other minerals involved. Then we have vitamins, vitamin C, the B vitamins, folate. There's amino acids in seaweed, and also it has DHA and EPA, which if you're a vegetarian, this would be a good source. And DHA and EPA are omega-3 fatty acids. Now, if you're consuming something like flaxseed or walnuts, you're getting the precursor for these two called ALA. But with seaweed, you can actually get DHA and EPA directly, so it doesn't have to convert. Now, if you're concerned about heavy metals because maybe the source of the seaweed is in a polluted ocean, find a seaweed that comes from a clean environment. An organic version would be great. So to summarize, this is a great way to get your trace minerals and other nutrients. And if you have a small child, you can give them some of this, but just don't give them a lot because this does have a concentrated amounts of these minerals, especially iodine. So a little bit would be fine. Anyway, that's my opinion, and thanks for watching. Before you go real quick, I have a course entitled How to Bulletproof Your Immune System. It's a free course. I want you to take it, and here's why. Here's you. Here is your environment. Everyone is focused on this over here, avoiding your environment. But what about here? What about strengthening your immune system? That's what's missing. This course will show you how to bulletproof yourself, and so you can tolerate and resist your environment much better by strengthening your own immune system. I put a link down in the description right down below. Check it out and get signed up today. Hey, before